Obviously, for anybody who watched the interview I did with Vice President Harris, we sat down for 25 minutes and we talked about one single topic, the economy. It is the number one issue for voters. If Donald Trump would like to sit down and have that same conversation, I'm ready for you. And I think it's hugely important, and it's a vulnerability for both candidates. But it's really tricky, Joe, because, you obviously want to cover all of these topics, but to just do it with one candidate, it's hard because many people feel like she's speaking in platitudes. She's speaking about an economic vision, and she's not giving details. She's got an 80-page detailed policy proposal. And do I think that she answers every single question and gives people exactly what they want? She doesn't. Do you know why? Because she's a politician. Donald Trump, meanwhile, he was in Michigan yesterday where he continued to spread lies about the Biden administration's response to the hurricane. Trump told his supporters the White House has no money to spend on disaster relief because it's all being spent on illegal immigrants. There is, of course, no evidence to support Trump's claims.
FEMA is providing emergency food and shelter program funds to help cities around the country recover or defray the costs of non-citizen arrivals.
People are dying in North Carolina. They're dying all over those 5, 6 states. They're dying, and they're getting no help from our federal government because they have no money, because their money's been spent on people that should not be in our country?
Nope, that is a lie. Donald Trump's claim that the government is not helping the hurricane survivors is absolutely categorically false.
We haven't seen FEMA, we haven't seen Red Cross, we haven't seen Hearts with Hands, we've seen no agencies come through here. Most people drive through with their cameras out, filming us like we're animals in a zoo, and don't stop.
But there's just no support here. There's no leadership. When we meet these locals on the ground, they're asking like, oh, you're from the state guard? I'm like, oh, I'm from Florida. And they're like, where's North Carolina?
So you guys heard that. And I played that for a reason, because we have to talk about MSNBC or MSDNC today, because there was some bombshell footage from James O'Keefe with O'Keefe Media Group, OMG, which was formerly... What was it called before? I forgot. But anyway, he got kicked out of his own previous company, so he made a new one, and now he's doing better than ever. He's doing some fantastic work exposing a lot of these folks with just like some pretty chicks that sit down and get these men in these, positions in mainstream media and politicians to just spill all the beans. Well, he did it again with someone who works for MSDNC. And he admitted something that we all knew, but it is good to hear it because now it just confirms what we already knew. And the people on the left who try to say that it's not true, now we actually have proof that it is.
What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Hamden revealed that MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece and is doing anything to get Kamala elected. Hamden says this news network is indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes.
Basil calls MSNBC viewers brainwashed and states that MSNBC made their viewers dumber over the years.
Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats. They've made their viewers dumber over the years. I think brainwashing and dumbing down,
it's bad.
Aggressive.
I get it.
Helps Trump.
When she's delivering these messages now, I think she keeps getting better.
Kamala Harris is telling the truth. The hate campaign against Kamala Harris has begun. They purposefully pronounce her name wrong.
But as a black woman, the product of a mixed marriage, she's an inspiration.
I don't know, Nicole, vote for her or don't vote for her, but isn't it great to just have a positive conversation right now?
Last week, we saw Vice President Kamala Harris's first mainstream media solo interview of her presidential run with MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle. Many people were stating how much of a softball interview it was. Here's a clip from that.
I just want to ask you yes or no. At any point in your life, have you served 2 all beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, working at a McDonald's. Yes or no? That's it.
I have.
Okay.
With that, OMG decided to look into MSNBC and their cozy relationship with the vice president. Meet Basil Hamden, a writer and producer for MSNBC's weekend show, Iman. Hamden's background includes working at the Huffington Post as a news director and being the executive producer for Michael Moore. Basil met our OMG American swiper on the dating app Bumble and divulged about his job to our undercover journalist.
Remind me where you work.
Right now, I'm working at MSNBC.
What do you do? What's your title?
Writer, producer. So I a live news show on the weekends.
Okay, what is it called?
Amen. Yeah,
I've heard of that.
Basil Hamden, producer at MSNBC, states that MSNBC is helping the Kamala Harris campaign, stating they are, quote, amplifying her message. Basil also reveals that, quote, what her message of the day is their MSNBC's message of the day.
So do you feel like MSNBC is doing enough to help the Harris campaign?
I mean, they're doing all they can.
Which is what? What have they done to help the Harris campaign?
Amplify her message. What her message of the day is their message of the day.
Our OMG American swiper questioned Basil Hamden about MSNBC's close relationship to the Democratic Party. Hamden revealed that MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece and is doing anything to get Kamala elected. Hamden says this news network is indistinguishable from the Democratic Party.
What you were saying earlier, that the MSNBC aligns too closely with the Democratic Party line.
Yeah, so they're often saying the same exact things. The type of people who work in Democratic politics and in the campaign are a lot of the same type of people that would appear on air on MSNBC. It hammers home the point that I'm making, that this news network is indistinguishable from the party.
Are they just the Democratic Party's mouthpiece?
Exactly.
MSNBC is the Democratic Party's mouthpiece.
Yes.
So is MSNBC just like doing whatever it takes to get Kamala elected?
Yes.
Even if there are like clear contradictions that would potentially alienate some of the viewers?
Yes, but unfortunately...
That's bad journalism, right?
It is, but unfortunately, they've made their viewers dumber over the years. Fortunately, they're not brainwashing people with racist propaganda like Fox, but particularly post-Trump, from Trump on, they've really narrowed their audience's mind to the point where even when guests go on their show to criticize Democrats, people get mad at the guests.
It begs the question, why isn't MSNBC's motto, the network indistinguishable from the Democratic Party? Per Basil Hamden, MSNBC is nothing more than a network that is solely based on helping the Democratic candidate, Kamala Harris. Just this week, MSNBC panelist Eddie Glaude stated Kamala Harris has to win, and if she doesn't, our young children in America will have the threat of being bombed at school because of Donald Trump.
We got to come out and try to figure out how to turn out in large historic numbers, because we got to keep this troglodyte out of office. Because if he comes in, our babies are going to be in danger. Because remember, those young children are going to grow up with the memory of having to not go to school for the threat of bombs. When she needs to bust him in his mouth. I'm saying it like that because he's dangerous. He's dangerous to particular people.
These are very peculiar people that are at MSNBC. Basil Hamden, producer at MSNBC, dives even further into how MSNBC hosts and guests are so in sync, they will finish each other's sentences.
Do you feel like MSNBC doesn't necessarily tell the truth?
I think they do from their perspective, yeah. They do.
But from like an objective standpoint?
It's very partisan Democrat. Their problem, and I think they would have a bigger audience, it would be if they were less tied to the Democratic Party itself. They should be progressive. They should tell the truth from a progressive perspective, but they shouldn't be tied to a political party.
How are they currently tied to the Democratic Party?
They just are way too cozy with Democratic politicians.
How? I can't tell.
If you watch an interview with a Democratic politician, They just finish each other's sentences. The anchor and the politician are just in total agreement about everything.
While investigating subjects, our OMG journalists always find that the subjects we investigate like to criticize or demean the very people they work for or entertain. Basil Hamden is no exception. Basil calls MSNBC viewers brainwashed and states that MSNBC made their viewers dumber over the years. Doesn't sound like they believe in their product.
They've made their viewers dumber over the years. Viewers get mad at the guests or the hosts if the hosts were to criticize Democrats.
Because they're so brainwashed
Yes.
into thinking that the Democratic Party can do no wrong.
Not that they can't do any wrong. It's maybe they can do wrong. I just don't want to hear about it. Don't say it out loud, because if you say it out loud, it helps Trump. I think brainwashing and dumbing down,
It's bad.
aggressive,
I get it.
helps Trump.
While at this meeting with our OMG American swiper, Basil Hamden, MSNBC producer, did not want other people to hear the conversation he was having with our investigative reporter, saying we shouldn't speak too loudly about the issue. What is he ashamed of?
We should
So you know
too
people
loudly
here?
about that.
Okay.
Little did he know who he was talking to.
So yeah, they only just confirmed what we already knew, but I think it is, like I said, good to actually hear it now, because now the left can't deny it. We have proof. We have someone who works there that had no clue that they were being recorded, just thought they were on a date with some, good-looking woman, right? And just spilled all the beans. Just spilled it all. It's honestly incredible how James O'Keefe gets people to just tell it all. Like you would think that people would catch on. I probably shouldn't spill the beans with just this beautiful chick because I've seen people do it before on those videos. But it keeps on happening. So hey, O'Keefe he's probably got some beautiful women working for him. Because man, they get people to tell it all. But like I said, it's not a surprise, but it's just like one of those things like, yeah, now y'all can't lie about it, right? For sure can't lie about it. But anyway, we already know they will, of course, but we got proof now. All right. But I just wanted to show you guys that. I thought that was pretty interesting. And I know, not major news, because like I said, we already knew that kind of stuff. But James O'Keefe, back at it again. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.